Tyler, plugged on here. I'm here with my most anticipated albums of 2018. And so these are albums that I'm more just interested in. I'm seeing how they're turning out. I'm not saying they're going to be good or not, because there's one on here that I'm still very iffy on based off of what we've heard so far. There's about 3 albums on here that are actual albums that have release dates and that are real things. The other ones are bands that are currently in the studio recording something right now, so hopefully we will see something somewhere in 2018. Why don't we just kick it off here? I'm going to kick it off with the albums that don't have release dates or they're not concrete yet. And these are in no order, so order doesn't matter for this list. First one here, Between the Buried and Me. I always look forward to a new Between the Buried and Me album because they always do something different. They always, strive to be something completely new with every single album. And all their albums have a lot of just great and different ideas in them. So, you literally never know what's around the corner with this band. In Coma Ecliptic, I think, is a good album. It's definitely an album with Between the Buried and Me that I do not go back to that much, just personally. I'm more of like a Parallax and Colors guy, but still, Coma Ecliptic had some great moments on it where, on their next album, who the hell knows? It's always exciting when you get new Between the Buried and Me. Next up, Nile. I think Nile's last album, What Should Not Be on Earth, was fucking killer. The reason why I'm looking forward to this is, one, I always look forward to new music from Nile just because, they always, surprise me somehow, and I really love the riffage and the heaviness and the themes and everything that they always bring in. But their vocalist, one of them, Dallas Toller Wade, left last year, and so, what's new for Nile? How is that going to affect this band at all? Will it? Who knows? But still, looking forward to seeing what these guys put out. Next up, Camelot. Camelot's last album was absolutely incredible. Just some of my favorite symphonic power metal out there, especially in the vocals department. And, what's next for this band as well, because I think they're coming off of a high with their last album. And can they keep that going? Because I look at Camelot's career, and I think they have a lot of great material, but then they're not as consistent as I think I would like. So can they keep it up? We'll see. Plus, I love me some symphonic power metal sometimes, dude. It's just the best shit. Times of Grace. So this is Jesse Leach and Adam D's side project. Those guys of Killswitch Engage fame. They released Hymns of a Broken Man 2011. And that was an interesting album because it was material that Adam D wrote kind of off to the side, and when he was, injured and all sorts of stuff, off from Killswitch Engage. And then he brought Jesse Leach back, and what was interesting about that is Jesse Leach wasn't in Killswitch Engage again yet, which I thought was interesting. And then, it was still a cool album. It still had some great Adam D moments and some fucking fantastic songs. And it proved that, Jesse Leach is still a phenomenal singer, and he really has grown as a vocalist. And then get back in Killswitch Engage. They put out 2 fantastic albums so far. So what's new for Times of Grace? What are they going to do to distinguish Times of Grace in Killswitch Engage? I think Times of Grace has a good, shot of just being something that's a lot more exploratory, maybe material that wouldn't exactly work with Killswitch Engage, but at the same time, that's something that I would like to see Killswitch Engage do, is maybe shake it up a little bit. Adam D, obviously, he had Serpentine Dominion with Corpse Grinder, which is more of a death metal album, and so obviously he has a lot of ideas constantly flowing in the riff department and songwriting and everything, but what's next for Times of Grace? That'll be interesting. The next one is Alice in Chains. So, Alice in Chains, if anybody's been watching this channel for a long time, is my favorite band of all time. They are my #1 band. So, of course, I will always look forward to new music from these guys. And, you know, I think Black Gives Way to Blue was a good album. It was a little bit more on the safer side, but it established that, yeah, Alice in Chains is back, and William DuVall is a fantastic fucking vocalist, and they can still write killer music. And then The Devil Puts Dinosaurs here. They tried a lot of new stuff. That album really grew on me over time. So what's next for Alice in Chains? You know, what kind of moments of beauty, but then also of darkness and despair do they have around the corner? What kind of, are they going to bring out the heavy as they do sometimes? What kind of fantastic vocal passages are Jerry Cantrell and William DuVall going to do? Who knows? We'll see. And I'm just really excited that Alice in Chains is still chugging along. And you know, as long as those two, you know, are really on top of it, I think these guys can really pull something off again. So I have two more of albums that just aren't real yet, but are being recorded. Next up is Behemoth. So Behemoth took my 2014 album of the year with The Satanists, which I think is just honestly one of the best metal albums ever written. And that album is just so flawless. And, you know, Behemoth has had a lot of great material throughout their whole, you know, discography. But The Satanists took everything to a whole nother level. There was an anger to it, a darkness to it, and also at times just a beauty to it in a way. It was just, it just oozed personality and creativity. And so what's next for Behemoth, you know? Like, how do they top The Satanist? Because that was just so top level. Like, it's one of those albums where you go, I just don't know how you can do better than that sort of thing. But Behemoth, you know, as they can always find a way, and they're always creative and do a lot of interesting stuff that always kind of make me go, wow. So, how are they going to make me go, wow again? We'll see. Last one here is Ghost. So, a lot of people jumping off the Ghost train, like, fuck this band's popular now, I ain't doing this anymore. A lot of people jumping on the Ghost train. You know, I just enjoy Ghost. You know, I enjoy just about everything they've done. And Meloria, I guess, their third album, really obviously took this band to a whole nother level in terms of popularity, getting on massive tours, headlining massive festivals, getting on the radio, all sorts of stuff. And I think that was still a fucking great record. So what is going to happen with Ghost? You know, obviously they have to really keep their image and their personality, but how is their music going to be affected? Because then they had a massive hit with Square Hammer off of the Pope Star EP. You know, are they going to lean more of that direction of the poppier radio friendly singles? Are they going to go back towards some crunchier stuff like they did off their first album? You know, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways that this band could go, but what I'm just interested in seeing is, can they keep it going? Can this album then even take them further in popularity? Or won't people just go, this isn't really what I want from Ghost? Because their second album, while I think there's some cool stuff on it, is a little bit of a miss, more than it is of a hit, in my opinion. So, we'll see, for sure. These next three albums all have release dates. First up, Visigoth with Conqueror's Oath. Visigoth's first album, The Revenant King, is one of my favorite albums of all time. It's a straight up, just heavy metal riff fest, big, powerful vocals, great vocal hooks that you just want to sing along to, fucking riffs and guitar solos that you just want to air guitar to and bang your head to. It was a fucking amazing record. So what, you know, how do they top that? Because to me, I think that album is damn near masterpiece. So with Conqueror's Oath, you know, I'm really hoping that this band can still put that stuff together and even continue to blow me away. I enjoyed the song that they've put out so far, Warrior's Queen. I think that's a cool track. It definitely doesn't light my fire like some of the other songs do on their first album, but we'll see. I'm excited to see the rest of it. I think it's February 9th. That one comes out. This next one, I am more interested in, more than I think that it might turn out to be good. But you never know. Like, we'll listen and judge the album when it's actually out. Machine Head with Catharsis. So reviews have kind of been dropping of this album. Some are, very mixed, and I think the singles they put out, I just don't know how I feel about it, because there's moments with them that I'm like, this isn't bad, this has some groove to it or something, or I like the vocals here, but it just does not get my blood boiling like I would say their past 4 albums have, and definitely with like The Blackening and Locust, So I'm just more interested in hearing this album. What is the final outcome of this? Because it seems like they're going back towards some of those weird 90s moments of, the nu metal sort of sound that they had, and we'll see, man. I think it will be a very interesting album for Machine Head, very much so, and I think it's probably going to divide a lot of people, Saw one album, one review called it out as a Super Collider level near miss or something, and I'm like, whoa, that's not good. Then Machine Head got really bad. We'll see. January 26th, I think, for Machine Head and Catharsis. And then the last one that I'm going to talk about today. So, of course, there are more albums that I'm looking forward to as the year will progress, but they just put out a single. Judas Priest with Firepower. And their single, Lightning Strikes, is just so fucking amazing. So, to me, I'm just looking forward to new Judas Priest music on such a high level, and hopefully everything is high of a level as Lightning Strikes. Hopefully, everything is high of a level as at least Redeemer of Souls, which I thought was a fine album for Judas Priest, especially this late into their career. Rob Halford still sounded pretty good for the most part, and I think on this single here, Lightning Strikes, he sounds fantastic, and the riffs are just so killer. The solos are phenomenal. So, just Judas Priest, man, straight up heavy metal. When Judas Priest is aggressive, they're heavy, and they just put everything together. They're pretty unstoppable. So I'm very much looking forward to more of that from Judas Priest. So that's it. Those are 10 albums that I'm looking forward to, or 10 bands you could say that have new music coming out in 2018 that I'm looking forward to. Of course, there will be reviews happening eventually. I'm looking at early in the year here, and it's kind of hit or miss whether there's things that excite me every week, where I felt like it was a consistent drip in 2017. But we'll see. I always also look forward to things that I don't know about. What are the new bands I'm going to discover, and the new bands making new debuts that are going to, have a spark. You know what I mean? Thanks for watching. Looking forward to 2018. Hopefully you guys are too. See you later.